Hey you guys, Trey Vittetoe here, and today I'm going to talk about multiband distortions and how sometimes they might be a better choice over an EQ to help a sound really pop out in a mix. So here we go. So the song I have up is a song by an artist named Fidel. Fidel brought it to me at the end of last year and asked me to mix it and to also add some elements here and there and to add a drop. So most of the production is not mine, but I did go through the whole thing and do quite a bit of work. And one of the things that I noticed in several spots was there were some sounds that I really liked, but they just weren't cutting through the mix. And the first choice is always to grab an EQ. If you feel like something's not quite cutting through the mix and you're just trying to find those frequency bands that need to sort of pop out a little bit. But once in a while, I prefer to use a distortion because a distortion, instead of trying to raise frequencies, it adds some harmonic content. And if you use a multiband distortion, you can actually target those harmonics to certain frequencies. So I want to show you a couple of different ways I used it in this song. All right, so the first sound I want to look at is a synthesizer right here, the one that says synthesizer 1. So here's the sound as it first comes in. Okay, this is about to come in right here. It's very low. I'm going to raise it up. So you can hear that there. Really like that sound. I actually kept it down in the mix for the most part. I raised it up a couple spots, but really I saved it till the end because I thought it brought a great energy toward the end. There it is. If you can't hear it. So, when I first heard it, I thought it was just a little bit dull and it didn't cut through in a way. I didn't want to raise the volume of it anymore. I just wanted to find those frequencies that needed to pop a little bit to let the sound cut through. And so what I did, instead of using an EQ to find those upper frequencies, so this effect is called quadrifuzz. It is native to Cubase. Before I finish tonight, I'm going to show you a different multiband distortion that I love that is not native to Cubase. It's just as good as this one. Maybe in some ways it's got even some features that are cooler, but this one did the job for me. So I want to show you what I did. Could I have done that with an EQ? I could have. I could have targeted those same frequencies, but it wouldn't have had the same texture because there's a difference between raising frequencies up in the mix and actually adding harmonic content, which is what a distortion does. So there's a different tonality, and in many ways, to me, it's more flavorful and interesting in certain sounds without being harsh in those upper frequencies. And if you listen to it again in the mix, and it comes in right here. So it's just enough to bring some presence to that sound. It really still rides below the vocal. It's not taking over, but it gives me this just a really super nice presence in those high mids there. So let me look at another sound. Now this is going to be a very subtle use of the same plugin, but I used it on some type of vocal chop he gave me. It's very subtle, but there's just a little extra harmonic content, and it's, again, this is right around 2K to about 9.5 or 9K, somewhere in there. I'm actually using this thing called a decimator, which is really a bit crusher, and it just adds a little bit of that super sort of bit crushy harmonic there. To me, it doesn't change the EQ, but I just hear those extra harmonics that just give it a little more cut through, because the sound really, to me, it really adds to the hook of this section. So to me, that is a more effective way to get those sounds to cut through than just to throw on an EQ. Okay, so there's one other sound I want to show you. This is the sound by itself. So I mentioned I wanted to show you one other plugin that isn't native to Cubase that does the same thing. It's a multi-band distortion. I use this one a lot on basses. It really helps those high mids really cut through in the bass. By the way, one of the things that's great about adding harmonic content to a sound versus EQing it is sometimes, for instance, with a bass, you may have a bass that is just really sub-heavy. It doesn't really have a lot of material in the high end. And if you start EQing it, you're going to find yourself raising it, and it's never quite cutting through because there's just not a lot of frequency material to work with. With a distortion, you're adding harmonic content again, so you can literally put sound there where there isn't on top of that bass layer that you have and just give it a little bit more presence in your mix. So what I'm going to do is just let it roll, and I'm going to show you how I would treat this. So first of all, I'm going to solo. What I'm going to do is find the frequencies I want to work with. Now that's the low end on this is about 975. So this is basically treating everything higher than 975 hertz. There's a bunch of different types of distortion, models of distortion. I'm going to choose this thing called Porridge. Does a nice job. Now the first thing I'm going to do is there's some cool shape tools here. I'm going to add a little bit of fatness. If you see what's going on with there, I'm going to add it toward make it a little fatter. And I'm going to bring a little bit of Now listen to this with and without. There it is. I've put quite a bit in there to keep it so you can hear the clear effect. Let's check it in the mix. So, to my ear, it's not as harsh as an EQ can be in that same frequency range. It's not always the case. I do use the EQ a lot when I'm trying to cut through certain spots in the song with the sound. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, of course, please like and subscribe. And comment below. Tell me what you think about this. If you use this technique, if you tried on one of your mixes, let me know. Let me know what you thought once you tried it. All right, until next time.